Welcome in, guys. It is Brad with College SportsCast. It is week 27, season 4. We're here for another episode of Wildcat Weekly.
Thank you for tuning in to College SportsCast. College SportsCast presents Wildcat Weekly.
Welcome in, guys. It is Brad with College SportsCast. I'm here right this minute to do another episode here with you guys of Wildcat Weekly. And I'm going to have a special guest on here with us here in just a few minutes. So y'all hang on for that. John is attending the 50th district and region tournament or district tournament tonight for the girls. And he is not going to be here. We're going to have somebody else in his spot, but he is at the girls' 50th district tournament tonight. First round here tonight. He's going to be watching a couple of games there tonight. So hopefully he'll have a good time watching the girls' district tournament tonight. That is part of the 13th region. All right. So we start out every show here with our Facebook, man. We're inching closer and closer to 8,000. We're getting really close now, and we appreciate you guys. Hit that subscribe, man. Hit that subscribe. It's only 99 cents a month, and it gives you your own page to post in that you can post in. It also gives you a chat that we are in daily during games and trying to have a little bit of fun, bringing you some info, some news, our shows, different things. So hit that subscribe. Again, it's only 99 cents a month. If you are on Facebook or YouTube with us, we appreciate you as well. We have crossed over 750 on our YouTube. So, or if you are with us on YouTube, we appreciate you as well. Hit that like and subscribe. And we would appreciate getting a subscription there as well. Again, on Facebook, it is 99 cents to subscribe, but we appreciate both of you guys. Also, we're on the Real Fresh channel and subscribe to their channel as well. All right. So it looks like my guest is having a computer update. So we're going to hang on just another minute here. But while we are doing that, I am going to talk about home field apparel. Home field apparel. I am actually wearing one of the shirts tonight. This is the 1996 team. This is a home field apparel shirt here. If you're looking for some really cool retro vintage Kentucky gear, it is an awesome place to go. There's over 100 and I believe now 90 teams licensed. You can get all kinds of stuff and all different kinds of teams. But go to Home Field Apparel, use our QR code at the top left of the screen, and it will you can go there, find the Kentucky Wildcats, locate the gear. There's lots of cool stuff there to pick from, mascots, logos, all kinds of stuff. And use our code CSCast at checkout. It will help us, and you will get some really cool vintage gear. I'm going to leave that QR code up on the top of the screen, left corner of the screen there, as we are doing the show tonight. And it does look like that my guest is now here. So I'm going to pull up on the screen and get our guest in here. or at least that's what I think I'm going to try to do. I thought I did that. There we go. There he is. All right. I did it wrong the first time, but welcome in to Coleman Scott. Coleman Scott of Talkin, Kentucky is with us tonight. So we're going to have a little bit of fun with Coleman. What's up, Coleman?
What's up, Brad? Thanks for having me. We're going to try to have some fun. There's not many fun things to talk about in the world of UK athletics right now, but we'll still try.
This is true, but it's pretty good to have you on the show. We haven't had you on for a while.
It's good to be on, man. Need to get you back on Talking Kentucky here pretty soon. And I'm kind of ready for football season at this point, Brad. When I think of you, I think of football because we've been doing those, we've done those football post-game shows. And I think as the Will Stein era starts up, we might need to bring those back.
Yeah, we might need to do that for sure. Absolutely. What's up, Jerry? So, Coleman, there's the world of Kentucky basketball is a little bit frayed right now. Let's just call it that. But we are going to dig into it a little bit. I've got some things here that I want to talk about. There's probably going to be some things that I don't want to talk about, just to be honest with you.
Completely fair. Yep.
Just to be honest, but all right, we're going to kick it off. This is where we are. So Kentucky loses their third game in a row. And I put, at Auburn this past weekend. And I mean, Coleman, let's start with questionable calls. It seems like every game anymore, there's just calls that just are unbelievable, really. Yeah. And the SEC seems to do nothing about it.
Yeah, as Kentucky fans, I think we're used to kind of getting screwed by the refs, for lack of a better term. But it seems to be particularly bad this year and particularly bad in conference play, Brad. There's been something about it, and it's not just, everybody points to Doug Shows. He's certainly part of the problem, but it's really been across the board. It doesn't matter who's been officiating. We've had some weird calls, some weirdly officiated games this year for sure. And to be honest, it's not all just bias against Kentucky. I honestly think some of these games have just been not called well on either side. Brad, it feels like just the inconsistency, of just calls that don't make sense with the way the rest of the games have been called.
Is it time for the SEC to get their own officials?
Might need to. They at least need to
pay their own officials.
They might need to. I mean, they at least need to step in and hold them accountable for. I heard Matt Jones say this one time of, the players and the coaches have to come out and do a post-game press conference, and give answers. Why not make the officials do the same thing? I think that would fix some of the accountability of some of this. I mean, they don't have to. In fact, coaches and players get fined if they do criticize the officials. Why can't the officials at least give reasoning for certain calls in the game? I feel like media should be able to inquire.
I mean, what's really so astonishing to me, Coleman, is that there are times in the game now where they go to the monitor and they still get it wrong.
Yep.
And it's clear as day.
Yep. Especially these flagrants, common fouls. It could be anything from fouls to like who the ball went off of, shot clock violations, anything. Yeah.
I mean, what is the purpose of going to the monitor if you're still going to call it wrong?
Yeah, and it slows the game down too, Brad. I mean, I don't think it's as bad this year as it was maybe the past couple years, But I mean, we had some. I don't know if you remember last year, Brad, but we had some basketball games that were right around 3 hours long.
Oh yeah, 245, 250. Yeah, we did.
Yep. Yeah, and that should just never happen. I mean, I'm not going to do anything else besides watch basketball, but you want to talk about the flow of the game. It's boring to watch at home. It just takes all the air out of the game.
I mean, look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that that's all the problems here with this Kentucky team. It's not. No. But the officiating really and truthfully needs addressed. I mean, it's just not good.
It's not. I mean, again, the inconsistency, like you want to talk about the call the other night, right? I mean, they were letting them beat up on each other the entire game. And even if you don't, right? Even if you don't let the players be physical, usually in the, certainly in the final minute of a game, let alone 18 seconds, you let that play go, right? Did Chandler push off? I don't know. Maybe he did a little bit. He extended his arms, but there was also some flopping going on there.
But there was he was actually also holding his jersey as well.
He was. Yep, I've seen that picture. So regardless, you let him play.
What gets me is you let some things go, but then you want to call other things. Well, you can't let defensive players hold an offensive player and then call them for pushing off. You have to call the game fair, because then you're just penalizing an offensive player if you're going to let the defense hold them.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Brad. I mean, it's like, again, it's so frustrating that you don't call anything like that the whole game. And yet, we had, I think it was Moreno. Do we know which one it is?
Moreno.
He just got bulldozed in the first half. It was a no call. Like, if you don't call that in in the first half, then you certainly can't call the Colin Chandler push off with 18 seconds left.
I mean, Coleman in this game, with 18.8 seconds to go, Denzel Aberdeen walked up to the free throw line, hit 2 free throws, put Kentucky up 74-71. And somehow or another, Kentucky figured out a way to lose this thing.
Yep.
I mean,
I'm going to be honest with you.
Down, drove, we fouled them. They hit free throws. Then the timeouts, and then Chandler gets called for a push-off with 14.3 or something like that to go on that, after the free throws.
Yep.
Something like that. They call the push-off. I mean, then they just crash the board. I mean, and we're nowhere to be found. I mean, they're just like MIA under the board. I mean,
yeah, that's what's bothered me.
They missed three shots or something before the putback that goes in with 1.1 or 1.2 or whatever it was.
Well, not to dunk on the kid, but you got to point your finger at Brandon Garrison, right? I mean, he didn't box out; he was just kind of standing there. You gotta get that rebound. I mean, you can't let them have 3 looks at a game winner, Brad. I mean, it's unacceptable. It just is. And the rebounding has been puzzled me all year long. We took Oscar Tshiebwe for granted when we had him, Brad. I mean, like, if we rebounded just decently, if we had any offensive rebounding ability at all, I think we'd probably have 3 or 4 less losses, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean,
it
seems like every single game anymore comes down to 1 or 2 possessions.
It does. And this this game reminded me of Missouri at home, which obviously I was at that game. That was not a great one to be at, but that was one that we sort of, snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. And then North Carolina, right? If there's a world, Brad, where if you beat North Carolina, if you just beat North Carolina and Missouri, which were two very winnable games, and we had one within the final couple minutes, we would have been in the top 15 in the country, and this would be an entirely different season.
Yeah. Georgia loss at home is not good either last week. I mean, I hadn't even mentioned that. But, I mean, that was another loss at home. And the thing of it is like Denzel Aberdeen got fouled, went to the line for 3, had a chance to cut it to like 1, missed some free throws, missed at least 1, maybe 2 of those free throws. And then the next time down, we had a shot to tie or go ahead and missed. Yep. And then the next thing you know, with like a minute and 20 seconds to go, we start fouling, they push it out and have an 8-point victory. But the game was right there. They had their chances to win.
It was, in conference play, at least, Colin Chandler has been a beast. And, I know he didn't necessarily start the season with the breakout year that we were all hoping that he would have, but where would we be without Colin Chandler, Brad? I mean, he single-handedly won us at least 3 games. I don't really think that's an exaggeration. I mean, 2 of them, he had big shot. I mean, against Arkansas, right? And against, who was it at home that we beat? Was it Oklahoma? No, it was Tennessee.
Tennessee, yeah.
It was Tennessee. He hit big shots that basically clinched both of those wins.
Both of those. Well, one of them was a steal, I think.
I think we have a lot of steals this year.
Steal.
LSU. When he threw the pass to Moreno, I mean, we could have easily lost that game. So it's a weird year, right? Because there's a world where we're top 15. There's also a world where we're already out.
Yeah, I mean, think about if we lose like against LSU and against Tennessee,
which we could have lost. That's 3 more losses right there.
Yeah,
we could have absolutely lost both of those games to Tennessee.
Yeah.
Now, Brad, I don't know about you. I mean, I think night and day. I mean, I'm excluding the second half against St. John's. I think that's the best we've looked all year. It's also the only time that we've had a fully healthy roster. But for whatever reason, Brad, against Arkansas, I think that by far was our most complete game that we've played.
Yeah, I'll agree with that for sure.
It's confusing. I mean, it's like the reverse of last year, right? Because Arkansas sort of was inconsistent all year, and then they kind of played out of their mind against us. It's kind of what we've done this year. So
I agree with that. All right, Coleman, I'm going to switch this up, and
all right,
and we're going to talk a little bit about the direction of Kentucky basketball. And like, what are some of the fixes for the future of the program? And I'm going to talk about this because there seems to be an absolutely enormous, large uproar from the fan base in year 2, by the way, of the Mark Pope era, about basically him being let go of the job. And I'm just not there. I want to start by asking you what you think about that, but I have a few topics here that I really want to kind of go through with you. So I'm not okay with it, not at all. And I will explain in the first topic here, but just right off the top, like, what's your initial thoughts on all of it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's way too soon to be saying that for sure. I'm not surprised Kentucky fans are saying that just because that's how we are. We're impatient. We want national championships. But I think you got to look at last year for starters, right? You got to look at the roster that he was able to put together in such a short amount of time. I mean, he really, really killed it in the transfer portal for as late as he got the job, right? And then he was able to take that roster, a team that was not athletic at all, really. And he was able to beat some teams that really I don't think we had any business beating, like the Duke Blue Devils. I still am amazed that we won that game. And some of these second half comebacks that we had last year, I'll get to this year in a minute, but against Gonzaga, the fact that he's able to make in-game adjustments as well as he does. I mean, we've all seen that clip of him in the huddle, saying when you're talking about Cooper Flag, like when Cooper spins, take the ball from him and all that. He's obviously a good basketball coach. He's obviously smart, looks at the analytics. I think what concerns me, and probably what concerns a lot of Kentucky fans, is, seems like we've just come out flat in a lot of these games. We've kind of played our competition, and
Coleman, this year's team, there's just something going on with it. It has been the entire time.
Yep.
I don't really know exactly what all that is. I've been around the program some. I still don't know all the answers, to be quite honest with you. But I want to start out with something here. I've got a little thing that I want to ask you about, okay? And here's my problem with the fan base, some of the media, and I'm also going to put the administration in on this just a little bit as well, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
2 years ago, in March, John Calipari took the number one recruiting class and was knocked out in the tournament in the first round for a second time in 3 years. Also had a 9-16 losing season before that.
Worst season in the history of the school.
Okay.
He's had some of the worst losses.
And here's my problem with the fan base and what's going on right now. 2 years ago, after all of that happened, most of the fan base, the media, and the administration decided to keep Coach John Calipari.
Yep. Kept him too
all
long.
The media, all the fan base was whining and crying and saying that they should keep him and everything else. When he come off of 5 years of absolute just rock bottom for this program. And he did all of that with top tier talent and still lost.
Yep.
Okay. Mark Pope, who, by the way, is a national championship winner at the University of Kentucky. Okay. One of our own. Mark Pope has had one season in the NCAA tournament. And by the way, he won 2 games in the NCAA tournament last year, and Calipari won 1 in his last 5 years.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
He's already doubled up what John Calipari did for 5 years, and he's only had one run. All right?
It's easy to forget about that. Yep.
All right? So my question to you is anybody being fair to Mark Pope? Because I don't get it. I don't see it. How in the world can, including the fans, the media, and the administration, vow to keep John Calipari, but yet in year 2 of one of our own, everybody's ready to throw him under the bus?
Yeah, especially, I mean, this year isn't over yet either, Brad. Like, we have to see like what the postseason looks like this year, and we can go on and win the SEC tournament, Brad. We could get a 6th seed in the tournament. We can get a 5 or 6 seed in the tournament, and who knows? But
I mean, I agree with you. It could happen. I don't think
it will.
The end of this is going to be all that great, to be honest with you, this year.
It's not.
I mean, it still doesn't matter. It's just year 2.
It is.
And everybody was still ready to keep going with Calipari after 5.
Well, I know. And yeah, I think everybody points to the year 2 thing, the Billy Gillespie. There are some other reasons that Billy Gillespie was let go other than he was just losing. It wasn't only that. There was no future there, right?
Oh, yeah.
Mark Pope has shown some promise. He's shown he's a good coach. He obviously gets this program. He cares about this program. Another thing that I think is a little bit concerning is if you look at what the roster is shaping up to be next year, which is who knows what it's going to be.
That's one of the topics that I have here that I was going to go through.
We'll get to it, but
yeah, that's
at the end of the day,
that's one of them. But I wanted to bring this up because I've been talking about this, and I just I'm actually, if you want to know the truth, Coleman, I'm actually kind of ticked off at the fan base and the media right now. Yeah. I'm actually kind of ticked off by it, to be honest. I don't think anybody is being remotely fair to one of our own. And it kind of pisses me off, to be honest.
No, I mean, I agree with you. And everybody's saying, oh, he's not the guy we should have gotten. You know, if you look at who was available at the time, like we weren't going to get Bruce Pearl, or we weren't going to get Sean Miller, we weren't going to get Nate Oates because this administration was not going to let that happen. You know, when you throw all that away, who else are you looking at? You're probably looking at Mark Pope or Shaka Smart. And would any of us really rather have Shaka Smart right now? I wouldn't. I think Mark Pope is the guy, the best option realistically that we had at the time. And I think it's great that he's one of our own. And I certainly am, you know, cheering for him to succeed. I think we all are. I don't think anybody dislikes him. He deserves at least one more year to get this thing going, and
maybe 2, to be honest.
Maybe two.
I mean, maybe 2, to be honest.
The most concerning thing to me is the recruiting or the roster construction aspect of it.
Can I ask you, before we jump into that, real quick?
Yeah.
What do you think about the coaching staff? Do you think there needs to be, talking about fixes here, do you think there needs to be some changes on his coaching staff? I'm not talking about the GM just yet. Yeah, I'm talking about just his coaching staff.
Well, I think that's what we're missing as a GM, but I don't think that the coaching staff, I mean, I honestly, Brad, I wouldn't know who to point to. I mean, on paper, I think this is about as good of an X and O's coaching staff as you could hope for right now, right? I mean,
but does it seem to be paying off on the floor any at all? Does it would not surprise me, Coleman, if there's not at least 1 or 2 changes on this coaching staff heading into next year.
Well, and who do you think that would be? Who do you think needs to change?
Well, the ones that I think are probably the safest.
Like, I mean, we hear that Alvin Brooks did the game plan for Arkansas.
Yeah.
Right. And then Mark Fox has head coaching experience.
Yeah, but are they helping him on game days? I mean, maybe a couple with the scouting and stuff, they seem to be occasionally. But it wouldn't surprise me if we don't see. I think Hart will be back. Fugger will be back because that's his guy, more than likely. Yeah. You know, his statistic guy and stuff. So I think he'll be back. It would be, honestly, it would be Fox or Brooks that I think Brooks could possibly look to go somewhere else. And Fox,
I could see that.
And Fox was retired, and he may not want to stick around for 2, 4, 8, 5 years. I mean, who knows? I mean, I'm not real sure.
Yeah.
But I could see a coaching change in the future, to be honest.
I could see Mark Fox stepping aside, sure, and I mean, I think he was kind of a big splash hire, for his first staff that he put together, really more than anything.
Now, let's get to the general manager or director of player personnel or whatever you want to call this position. I really don't care what you call it, but Coleman, this is something that this is at the end of year 2, and we'll get to the recruiting in just a minute. The recruiting is definitely not where it needs to be. And we're at the end of year 2, and we still do not have somebody in place that is like, you need somebody in place in today's game, Coleman. You need somebody in place that is out here watching every little small D1 school in these little conferences. You need to have somebody that's out here watching every kid, thinking, okay, that kid on this little team playing for Liberty or whoever is somebody we might want on our board.
Coach
Pope don't have time to do that crap.
No,
you got to have somebody in today's game. You got to have somebody in place that is building you a board for recruiting.
I mean, how many major programs, Brad, how many Power 4 programs don't have a GM? Can't be many.
Indiana even is hiring one now.
I mean, are we the only blue blood that hasn't hired a GM?
I mean, I'm not exactly sure of that, to be honest, Coleman. I would have to go and look to be 100% sure.
I wouldn't be surprised, though, if we are.
I mean, here's the thing. We clearly, in some of the things that's going on at the negotiation table, just that there's some things that clearly we are struggling with. The construction of this team was not great, to be honest with you. This year's team, there are clear reasons why there needs to be a GM in place or director of player personnel, whatever you want to call it. It does not matter to me what you call it, but they need to be in place. They need to be an expert in business and NIL, and they need to have relationships with agents.
Yeah. Not just high school coaches or AAU coaches or anything like that. It needs to be agents,
They need to have relationship with agents. It's critical in this world that we live in now and that we are recruiting in. Yeah. All of those things are absolutely critical. And I mean, I've even thrown names out. Okay.
Yeah.
Derek Anderson, who played with Mark Pope, was a teammate, won a national title. There's no reason. He's a great businessman.
Yep.
I'll give you another one. Jamal Mashburn.
Yeah.
Great businessman. He's back in the game. He's on TNT. You know he's got plenty of relationships with NBA people, which means he probably has plenty of relationships with agents. He's had He's had agents himself. So is Derek Anderson.
Now, Brad, would you go after a guy for the GM position? Would you go after a guy like Brad Stevens?
I mean, yes, I would. I don't think that he's going to leave where he is to come to Kentucky, though. I mean, I think we need somebody. I think Pope needs somebody to help him in this. What he's trying to do is build off of traditions and Kentucky traditions and everything else. Nazi Muhammad is another one. Played 20 years in the NBA. Great business mind. Has a fantastic relationship with tons of NBA people and agents. Nazi's been in the office of like at Oklahoma City and a few places, and Nazi would be an absolute steal of a general manager.
Yeah, I mean, he would.
And
Pat
again, Nazi was probably on one of those teams, right? I think, right?
Yeah.
I mean, former players that he would have relationships with that was right there that would be with him and building these traditions and everything else. Go get them. I'm tired of talking about this. I'm tired of not having them. It's getting absolutely insane. I don't understand why you're not making the moves.
Would you go after a guy like Pat Riley?
I mean, Lord, I would do anything to have Pat Riley, but I mean, I'm not so sure that Pat Riley's like 80. So,
well, I think we got to kind of in this situation, in this climate of college basketball. I think you got to swing for the fences, right? You got to make people say no first.
But the three that I just mentioned, Coleman, honestly, those three should be one of those three should be attainable.
Mm-hmm. Now, how much of the absence of the GM, and even it's probably on Pope that he's trying to sell Kentucky for the sake of Kentucky, and I think there might be an element to that that's important. And I think we all want to believe it's still important, and it is to us. But when you're trying to get these 18-year-old kids to come sign, these big deals to play here, it's about the bottom dollar.
Listen, and that leads me into this, okay? Rev share is different now, okay? Everybody thinks it's just NIL. NIL was with a third party, and it wasn't part of the school. Now, the school is actually negotiating with these agents in a rev share deal. And this is new. All right. This past, this year, July 1st, this past year, all this is new. Mm-hmm. Rev share is actually the school is negotiating. And I'm going to be honest with you. All right. The head coach does not need to be at the negotiation table.
No, you're right. It needs to be the GM.
The head coach needs to worry about recruiting, building relationships, and building a basketball team and coaching a team. And they do not need to be at the negotiation table.
Yeah. That's how to succeed in this landscape. It is. You got to have somebody else being there.
Here's the deal. All right. Mm-hmm. I'm a kid. I'm an 18-year-old kid. I've got 3 schools that I have broke this down to. Okay. All right. I got a top 3. All right. Let's just call it my top 3 is Kentucky, North Carolina, and Kansas. I'm a top kid.
Yep.
I'm a top 10 kid. Top 15 kid. My top 3 schools are Kentucky, Kansas, and North Carolina. If you're Mark Pope and you're at the negotiation table, all right, and you're recruiting this kid, and you come back and you tell this kid, all right, we're going to give you the $1.5 million so you can come to Kentucky, and we're super excited about having you, blah, blah, blah. And you have Mark Pope doing that, all right? Then that kid and his agent, what do? They take that information and run right back to Kansas and North Carolina.
Yeah.
All right. Yep. And they say, Kentucky offered me 1.5.
Yeah.
What are y'all going to do? All right. Then you got a head coach, all right, at Kentucky that thinks that, and listen, there's nothing wrong with that. There should be some of, I'm playing for the name on the front of the jersey. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay.
Yeah,
there should be some of that. All right. But then you got, let's say Kansas says, okay, we'll give you $2 million. By the way, this is probably what's going on with Stokes this year, by the way. All right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. So then the agent comes back to Mark Pope because he's the one that's doing the damn negotiating and says, you know what? We got a $2 million offer, so we're leaning towards Kansas now. Well, Mark Pope says, well, I don't know. We'll have to, I'm not sure I want to do this, but, okay, we'll match it. We'll go to $2 million, okay? Then North Carolina comes along and says, we'll go to 2.5.
Yeah.
So Mark Pope is already at the negotiation table, has already offered 1.5 and now has matched 2. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, because he's the head coach, he can't keep playing this game all winter long. That's what people don't understand. We still don't have no recruits. They can't sign right now anyway. This is the negotiation point.
Right.
So,
yeah.
So there's no reason they're not going to sign. I mean, you can't sign now anyway. So here's the deal, Coleman. Sooner or later, Pope's going to come back and say, well, we believe here at Kentucky that you should want to come and play here at Kentucky, and we've offered you 2 fair prices.
And they're going to get bought out. Yeah.
And guess what? The kid that everybody said, oh, he's a Kentucky lean. He's a Kentucky lean. He's a Kentucky lean. Guess what happens? He's no longer a Kentucky lean because we have the head coach at the negotiation table.
Do you think that the whole recruiting predictions and the crystal ball, like kind of stuff, do you think that means less this day and age because there's all this negotiating going on behind the scenes? Like you really don't know on any given day where a kid's leaning. You know what I mean, Brad?
Yeah.
Like, you think it's harder to predict where a kid's going to go?
Oh, for 100% I do, because these agents, Coleman, like from November to April, it doesn't matter. They can say they're committed.
It doesn't mean anything. Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything.
What is a national letter of intent?
Because their agents are going behind the scene and they're still negotiating.
Like even after they sign a letter of intent, Brad, I don't even know if they sign those anymore. Are those even still a thing?
Yeah, they sign. It's not. It's something else, but they still sign. But it's probably not. You could take it to the court. I mean, they can take anything to court. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
Nowadays,
it's not like it used to be.
No,
it doesn't mean anything to be committed, and now it really doesn't even mean anything to say that you're signed with somebody.
Not really. Now let's talk about roster construction.
Yep.
And a player big board. All this is part of the reason why you need a general manager or a director of player personnel or something of that nature. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Roster construction this time has not been the best. Let's just put it that way. Taking a chance on Jaden Quaintance, while other teams would have done the same thing if they would have had a chance.
It does confuse.
While,
I mean,
I don't. Other teams would have done the same thing.
They would have.
You do have to learn some lessons from this.
You do, Brad. I would rather have another guard right now. Right? We have way too many big men on this roster. In my opinion, we need another shooter. At the end of the day, that's why
I was screaming for months that they needed another shooter, and he never did go out and get one. He brought in Aberdeen late instead of a shooter, and there was a couple of pieces that I didn't think was great. Now, I will say this: Aberdeen has turned out to be a lifesaver for this team.
Yeah, I wasn't an Aberdeen fan at the beginning of the year.
I wasn't either, and I fully admit that. I've said it on the show here.
Yeah.
I mean, but here's the deal. Mo Diabate really hasn't panned out like he should have.
No, definitely not.
Not really.
Definitely not. Yeah.
Not really. Mo Diabate was probably brought here thinking he was going to be a starter.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm sure that's what we wanted him to be too. I mean, as far as Mark Pope tried to create a roster that was athletic and could play defense. Well, we're not really either of those things.
Listen, you can't overlook. Here's my biggest problem about this roster construction. Okay.
Yep.
Mark Pope's offense is all about efficiency.
Yes. And we are one of the least efficient teams.
Everything that he runs, everything that he does, whether it's the fast break, whether it's half court, everything he does on offense is about offensive efficiency.
Yeah.
And this team was not built on his strong suit, and it never was.
Yeah. And whose fault is that? It's his own fault, right?
It is. And he's got to learn a lesson from that.
He does. He does. And, I'm confident that we'll go out and we'll put together, a great roster in the transfer portal. He's done that before. I'm sure he'll do it again. And I think at the end of the day, he's a good coach. I think he could, if he gets guys that he truly wants that fit his system.
Josh, they won't get any money back from any of these guys. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, no, that won't happen. But I do one thing I do worry about, Brad, is are they going to have as much of an NIL budget next year?
I don't think they will. And I don't think that is something that is I think that was always going to be the case. Last year was the last year before this revenue share and this NCAA agreement and cap. Mm-hmm. All right. This year, it's different. It's not the same. There's no way that they are spending $22 million on a roster, and they never were going to do that. Last year was an anomaly.
Yeah.
Because the year before that, they spent like 10. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's probably going to be more like his first year, probably.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and maybe that's what we want, Brett. I mean, I want to see him run it back with another team of guys like he had last year.
I'm just talking about the spend is probably going to be somewhere around his first year. It's not going to be $22 million, and it never was.
This honestly, Brad, you want to talk about Calipari? This honestly feels like a Calipari roster in a lot of ways to me. Doesn't it to you? In some ways. Some of the guys are.
I mean, Calipari usually had 2 or 3 5-star, high quality,
Well, but I mean athletic guys. I mean guys like Jasper Johnson. He's really not a Mark Pope kind of guy. I mean, maybe he has the potential to run point in a Mark Pope system, but he hasn't played that way this year. He's not really a shooter. And I just feel like, guys Yelovich, or when I think of Mark Pope, I think of guys like Yelovich.
Now, Yelovich definitely could turn into that. I mean, this is just his first year. Jasper is, Jasper, I think, can turn in to be a good player. He's just a freshman. He has shown some spots. He come in and had 12 in an important game of just, 3 or 4 games ago, had 8 in the first half. He's shown some spots, but he's been hit or miss, to be quite honest with you. But there are so many things about this roster. That's the reason why he has got to have a GM that is working with him that will build him a big board of players where they're out watching these kids playing at Mercer and wherever. I mean, you know, I don't care, St. Bonaventure or
Fairleigh
I
Dickinson.
mean, yeah, Fairleigh Dickinson, Santa Clara. I mean, UC Santa Barbara. I don't care where they're playing. You need to be watching these guys and being like, if this guy hits the portal, we want this dude.
Yep.
I mean, and you can't tell me that Mark Pope and this staff has the time to do that in season.
Or maybe they're trying to do it, and that's why this isn't working.
I mean, this you can't do that.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
We need it. Yeah, we need a GM at the end of the day. I mean, and this is what I was going to say earlier, Brad. Do you think the reason that we don't have a GM is largely because of Mitch Barnhart?
No, I don't actually, because I mean, he let somebody walk in first day as a GM for the football.
Well, that's true. That's true.
I mean, why would he not do that for basketball? He let somebody walk in the first day. Get off the plane with him. He brought him on the plane. We went and got him and brought him on the plane. I mean
it seems to me, it's confusing to me because it seems to me like Will Stein is everything that Mark Pope is not in regard to NIL. Like, it seems like Will Stein really has this landscape of college athletics figured out with the way that he's wanting to run the program. And it feels like Mark Pope is still wanting to run it like the
stuff that I had mentioned about building a board and all that kind of stuff, and the NIL and the relationship with agents and all that is the reason why Will Stein has brought in his man, or two or three, actually. He's got three that are going to be helping him in the GM, director, player personnel roles, assistants roles.
Well, I mean, and I think to play devil's advocate, I think you gotta have that in football. I don't think it's possible to run a program in this landscape of college athletics without a GM in football because the roster's so big. In basketball, you can get away with it, but it's not going to be great. And that's
I don't think you can. If you want to be at the top, I don't think you can.
That's what I'm saying. You might be decent. You might pull off some big wins like we've done this year, but you're not going to be consistent. You're not going to be able to make a Final Four run.
All right. So I think you have to run here in a few minutes. So before you do, I want to ask you, at what level do you think we need to be winning next year before this fan base will chill the hell out and just get on board and try to back, a coach that is trying to build? Because let's all remember that this has been going on now for 7 seasons, and Pope's only been a part of 2 of those.
Well, it's not just about March, because that's what it was about for Cal. He always made it about March, and that didn't always work out very well. I mean, for me, hell, I'll be honest with you, Coleman. I want to be in the damn running for an SEC regular season title again. Well, I do too. So
let's start with that shit.
That's my point. You gotta have a good regular season. So that includes being in the running for a conference title.
I mean, come on, let's start with that.
I think you gotta have 2 of these 3. SEC regular season conference title, SEC tournament title, or at least playing in the championship, or a Final Four. It's got to be a combination of those 3.
I mean, at this point, Coleman, right now, I mean, I feel like Kentucky basketball is so far removed from all of that. I would take one. One of those 3 would be a great improvement.
One of those, for me personally, yes, but I think one of those 3 would be great. But to turn the entire fan base as a whole from what it is right now, I think it'd probably take 2 of them. But there's always going to be people that are negative. There's always going to be people that are negative. So
I mean, I'm not saying that to turn the whole fan base, you might be right, but I'm going to be honest with you, Coleman.
Oh, you're saying what makes it acceptable to me?
We
Yeah, I
haven't
think you get
won.
one of
We
those.
haven't won an SEC tournament championship since 2017.
If we won the SEC tournament, that would be, I think that would be a huge win in my book for Mark Pope, even next year. Yeah.
If he could pull that feat this year, it would be insane after everything that's going on. Because
Well, I mean, I don't really know that there's a team in the SEC that we can't beat. I mean, seeing how we played Florida, I mean, depending on the day, I think we could beat anybody, and I think we could lose to anybody.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true. So I don't know if you have to head out, but I am going to switch to the women. I want to get to some of that. So,
well, I got something right at 9. I got to get to, but so I'll probably will have to duck off. But thanks for having me on as always, Brad. We'll have to get you over to the.
We'll try to talk a little bit. If I have you on again, we'll try to talk a little bit more about Will Stein and what football is doing. Because I know me and you really like to do the football side of things and talk the football, and it is super exciting. But I'll tell you the one thing I'm worried about with Will Stein.
Okay.
Real quick, if you want to know the first thing that worries me,
yeah.
If you go look at the schedule, the first 7 games. Will this fan base turn on Will Stein if he starts 2-5?
Be interesting to see, and it's entirely possible.
In season 1, will they turn on Will Stein, a native who wanted to be here?
It's certainly possible. Certainly possible. It's interesting to think about. We'll keep that for a cliffhanger for next time.
Yeah. All right.
All right, man.
All right,
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you coming on and being with me tonight, and hopefully we will pick up some wins here in the next week or two.
Let's hope. We've done it before. Hopefully we can do it again.
They had such a great run, and then all of a sudden it's like the wheels fell off again.
We can turn it around. Nothing would surprise me at this point, Brad.
It's crazy. This season's been a roller coaster.
It's as big of a roller coaster as I can remember. Yep.
All right, Coleman. You have a good night. Man. We will see you later, man.
We'll see you soon.
All right. All right, guys. That was Coleman Scott of Talkin, Kentucky. He has something he has to do here at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 Central. So I appreciate him joining me tonight. I know I've got Josh and Clyde here with me tonight. I was trying to run it through because he was going to be bouncing off. So I wanted to get some of his thoughts and talk with some of his stuff as much as I could, because I knew he was going to be bouncing off here. So it looks like his mother, Lisa Marie Scott, is on here. I appreciate you being here with us, Lisa, and appreciate everybody that's come on tonight. I know that I didn't get to a lot of stuff. Absolutely, it was a heartbreaker. I was there yesterday for the women. Played such a great game, man. I mean, this women's team is so close to being a great, great team. They have played Vandy, a number 5, possibly a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament, to a 1 and a 2-point loss. Yesterday's game, they led over 30 minutes of this game. I mean, now I'm never going to say they jumped out, but I mean, most of the game, the lead was 2 to 6 points, for most of the game, but they played so well when their guard play is phenomenal. I mean, phenomenal. Vandy's guard play, Mikayla Blakes might be the best women's basketball player I have ever seen in person. I saw her play 3 or 4 times last year in the SEC tournament and regular season, and I have now seen her twice this year. And I'm telling you, in person, Mikayla Blakes might be the best women's basketball player I've ever seen. She is so smooth, so fluid, quick, and probably the best pure shooter. I mean, just fluid in her shot, in her she's money. I mean, she's just phenomenal, to be honest with you. And Aubrey Galvan is so crafty and tough. Freshman and sophomore Blakes. And they're just phenomenal. They're going to be good for a few more years with those, to be quite honest with you. I mean, I'm telling you, Vandy on the women's side have some phenomenal players. And for Kentucky to play the way that they have. In the first game at Memorial, Kentucky led for 25 minutes of that game, led for over 30, 33 last night. But, I mean, again, a turnover late, a missed layup, some of the same stuff. I mean, they just can't put it together late to get one of them. I'm hoping they will figure something out and be able to get one of them because they are so close. It's unbelievable to me how close they are to winning one of these. But I was at Memorial Gym last night. It's a really cool place to be, a cool gym that they have and that they play in. I will give them that. Kentucky stayed at number 16 in the AP poll. The women's did today. So that was good. You know, that loss, a 2-point loss on the road to a number 5 team did not hurt them. They stayed at number 16 in the poll, which means it will help them possibly to stay in the running for hosting in March Madness. That is a huge thing. That loss yesterday does kind of maybe put them in the running to have to play on Wednesday in the SEC tournament. The girls play at Auburn on Thursday. That is going to be an absolute dire game for this girls team to win because they finished the regular season at home against South Carolina. South Carolina is fantastic, playing great. Dawn Staley has all the great talent and athletes in the world. Has a great chance of maybe getting to a Final Four and cutting down the nets for a national championship again. It's going to be a tough task for the girls to stay with them. However, it was a 2-point game last year in Columbia late in the fourth quarter with 5 minutes to go. So who knows what could happen? This team has stayed with so many. It was a 1-point game at Texas, on the road at Texas with 5 minutes to go. They beat LSU. It was a 2-point game. Should have had a shot to beat Tennessee on the road. They've twice to Vandy. They've been so close to a phenomenal season for this women's team. So it's been crazy. I want to throw out one thought though. Just imagine how good this team would be if Clara Silva was still on this team and in a rotation with Tayani Key and Clara Strack and Clara Silva. The one mistake that I think was truly made, Clara Silva's averaging 10 or 12 points a game, 6-8 rebounds a game for TCU on a really good TCU team as a sophomore. And if she was in a rotation with this team, I think this team could have been truly, truly special with that. But having said that, this week is truly important for the girls. Auburn on the road is dire for them to not play on Wednesday. They really need to pull the Florida or the South Carolina game if they can, but it's going to be tough. Anytime to try to beat Don Staley and the Gamecocks and the women's side is truly, truly a tough, tough sell. Josh, we talked about the officiating a little bit at the beginning, man. It's ugly. It needs fixed. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. It's horrendous, to be honest. All right, I'm going to wrap things up here pretty quick, but there is a couple of things I want to talk about real quick. I don't know if you have caught this, but a freshman, Haley Nutter, has 2 no-hitters in her first 3 or 4 starts. She's a freshman. Honestly, no-hitters. It's amazing on the softball team. The softball girls are trying to turn the program back around. Coach Lawson had a little bit of a let go of the rope last year, but she looks like she's got a really good freshman class. They're young. They're probably not going to get there quite this year, but with this freshman class, the program looks like it's back on target for the softball. The baseball is 5-2. They won the Evansville series 2-1 over the weekend after a terrible home loss to Moorhead on Tuesday. Tomorrow's game against WKU has been canceled because of coldness and the weather just being too cold to play baseball. So that game is canceled for tomorrow. But the pitching on the men's side has been great. And it's just too bad that Tyler Bell got hurt in the first game. I think this Kentucky team had a chance to really do something great. Still kind of hoping that Tyler Bell can get back in a month or so, 6 weeks, and maybe be a part of this season. We'll see, but I do want to put that up there. One last thing before I take off and we go. Kentucky football and Will Stein. I found out today that Kentucky is in on 29 top 300 rival recruits on the 2027 class. And when I say in on, I'm not talking about just an offer. That's not what I'm talking about. 29 of these people have either the coaches have visited them, they have been here for junior days, or they are scheduling official visits in the future. 29 of the top 300 on rivals, Kentucky right now is in on. That is a huge number for the University of Kentucky in football. I mean, I will give Stoops some credit. I mean, he did up our recruiting. There were times where we were probably in on 5 to 10 or so of the top 300. There, depending on which class it was and that kind of stuff. But usually we were in on somewhere between 5 to 10 of the top 300 guys. We would get 2 to 3 to 4 or 5 at the most in these classes, under Mark Stoops. But Stein is upping the ante with this GM, assistant GM, a director of player personnel. People say, would Mitch Barnhart hire a GM? There's 3 on staff for football, and he hired him immediately. So I don't know why he wouldn't. And they're cranking up the recruiting here for Kentucky football, and that's pretty exciting if you're a Kentucky football fan, like me, to be honest with you. That's pretty exciting. I mean, Josh, the officiating's been horrible. I felt like we've been messed over. I can't even, almost every game, to be honest. Almost. It seems that way to me. All right, guys, I am going to wrap this up. Again, the QR code at the top was for Home Field Apparel. I do hope you guys will go there and check it out. Get you some really cool retro gear for Kentucky or any other team or that you would like to cheer for, but this is the Wildcat Weekly Show. So thank you to Coleman Scott for coming in and filling in tonight for John. Again, John was at the 50th District Girls Tournament tonight. Tonight was the opening night, and he went to support some of his family that play on the team. I think they're 8th graders that play on this team. They're twins. So Corbin, I believe, I'm not sure, is where they play. I think that's right. But he went tonight to support them in the 13th region. And that's the reason why he wasn't here, and that's the reason why Coleman was on. Thank you to Coleman Scott of Talkin Kentucky. Go check out their podcast, and maybe we'll get back together and be on his show before too long. So y'all have a good night. This has been Wildcat Weekly. We will see you guys on Friday night.